one of the first things that we began doing was just collecting all of our risk indicator data so that we knew exactly where we stood with risk factors and risk behaviors in Charlotte County, not only with our young people, but with our adults, of course, because that type of behavior trickles down. I got some really good documentation, particularly from our Florida Office of Drug Control and the information that CADCA was publishing at that time. And we had just come back from the Coalition Institute. We were the pilot class. And so I was just feeling pretty brave. And I said, no, we're going to really look and see what the data says. I was really proud of that. And then 2 years later, 3 years later, we were able to get the school-based survey implemented every fall, as opposed to waiting every 2 years for a state survey to come around. And then we really had some concrete data to make decisions by. And so to meet as a coalition group and say, okay, here's what the numbers say, this is what our kids say, and then ask, so what do you think we should do, became far more productive. One of the local conditions that was really aiding and abetting to this lack of perception of harm, particularly with underage drinking, was the fact that we had no open container ordinance.
Charlotte had sort of a community embracing of alcohol and alcohol-related events, and sort of a tolerance that was very visual throughout the entire county. You could drive up and down our main highway of 41 and see people walking on the side of the road drinking beer. So we now finally have our first step in open container ordinances, and it applies to everywhere in the county except the county parks. And now the county commission is even starting to look at the parks because they saw the benefits of what we did on the right-of-ways.
When you look at the 7 domains that coalitions are supposed to function in, I always tell my coalition colleagues, if you will stay true to those domains and resist the urge to do case management or host after-school activities or become a rec league, you will see changes in your community. We could look at what science and research said about what helps deter alcohol use, smoking, and marijuana use, and put those policies in place. And as a result, we had some school discipline changes, we had increased compliance, we had increased DUI checks, and we were meeting with our beer distributors, and they were working with their vendors trying to correct just placement. Once you have those consistent data measurements in place, the discussions become pretty short about what you should be doing and how you should be doing it, because data speaks volumes and it cuts to the chase pretty quick.